Hey guys, welcome back to Footy Banter and Insights. We are here for a game week review now. And what we'll do is we'll start off with the early game yesterday. The game was Southampton versus Man United. I'll open the discussion for the panel. Varun, did you happen to see the game yesterday?
I did see the game I think, again, in these games, the first goal is so important, right? That missed penalty, I think, was such an important and pivotal turning point in the game. And right after missing the penalty, they conceded, and that completely changed the momentum of the game. And United then coming back in the second half, scoring the second goal, and I think after that the game was kind of done itself over there. So I think again you see the importance of the first goal, and of course I think this was a weekend of missed penalties in a way, and we'll of course touch this on one of the other games as well later on. But again, I think that missed penalty could have been. Imagine the pressure United would have been, uh, and Ten Hag would have been if Southampton would have scored that penalty. That was the importance of that penalty at that point. So I think, yeah, that
Is Ten, is Ten Hag the most luckiest manager in the league right now?
I
Personally,
would
lucky to have a job.
lucky
Lucky
to
to have a job
yeah,
for sure.
lucky to have a job.
I think
Good
in
one.
every way, right? Because at the end of the day, you see United pull off results,
Yeah.
wherein they aren't a better team for the major game. But I think yesterday, once the penalty kind of worked in their favor, then I think they dominated from there.
For sure.
Vishesh, Anirudh, did you guys also happen to see this game yesterday?
Yeah,
I,
again, I
I
happened to see the game. It was just funny to see like Southampton crumble. It was just, I mean, they were so dominant. But yeah, after the penalty miss, actually, I commented on my friend's group uh, that Archer is not looking confident. That Onana, like just in a few seconds that he got before Archer stepped up to take his penalty, he had, I think, managed to psych him out. And such a long pause before a penalty is never good, right? So that was like a very bad sign, and of course he went ahead to miss the penalty. But after that, United scored within 2 minutes, and Southampton shoulders, dropped. It could have been much worse. I think United could have scored like probably 5, 6 goals. They took their foot off the pedal in the last 10, 15 minutes. Um, but one player, of course, I want to mention is like Mainu. I think United have to keep him fit somehow. They don't have a replacement for him, right? I think on the flanks, Garnacho or someone else can step up in place of like Rashford or Ahmad. But in center mid, there is no replacement for him. The way he, his first touch, he can turn around. He can make forward passes. He can put people through. So yeah, I think United's season is going to hinge on how many games he can get without getting injured. Hopefully, quite a lot. And I think Xerxes just needs another goal uh, for his season to take off properly. I think he is a striker who is in a lot of good positions. I think that might be down to the coaching he's getting from Van Nistelrooy. So he's in a lot of good positions. He just needs to find that like luck just to get a goal. And some bias from me because he's in my draft team. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think he just needs a goal or two.
I think going back to UV's point earlier, where you had mentioned that United seem to get last minute winners quite a lot and they get lucky a lot of times. I think that was quite common last season as well. And one of the reasons why I think they're struggling a lot is because they're not able to get consistency in terms of dominating the opponents. One week it's really nice, the other week it's an example right now against Southampton they did really well. But the first game of the season against Fulham, the same thing happened that we had spoken about earlier, last minute winner. Uh, and going back to Ten Hag, I think it was a very important and extremely important win for him. If he would have lost or drawn this game, I think not in terms of the management. I think management would is still going to give him some time, but the pressure from the fans that's going to be this year. It's going to be massive, and I think approximately more than 50% of the fans and my friends who I speak to, more than 50%, they don't want Ten Hag to be managing the club at this point of time. So good win for them, important win, dominant win, and I hope it doesn't continue like this. Uh, Yeah, and to be honest, I don't think they deserve to be in the Europa League as well this year. Last year, I don't know how they managed to win the finals, FA Cup, uh, but good for them. At least, uh, at least we have some extra time to train our young players now if we are not playing in the Europa League.
But he is definitely the luckiest man in football. I mean, there was a point in time I remember last year in April when United had lost last two games, had drawn against Coventry in the FA Cup semi-finals. There was an offside
Yeah.
that was ruled in
Yeah.
favor of United, and that led to them winning these FA Cup semi-finals against Coventry
Yeah.
City, right? And they almost lost that game. I mean, prior to that game, he had 3 draws, 1 loss. I mean, he would have definitely gotten fired, but somehow he kept his job on back of that win against Coventry City. And then he beat Man City in the FA Cup finals, and he kept his job after the summer. So, I mean, he definitely is the luckiest man in football at the moment. And everyone I speak to who is a United supporter, and everyone I speak to who's not a United supporter, everyone is just shocked on how he managed to stay and keep the job. I think part of it is driven on back of there are no managers, one, who would want to join United in such a position, and second, there are no managers who are actively looking, no good managers actively looking to get hired at the moment. So maybe that's the reason.
Yeah,
I
like
hear
the only
Southgate is available.
obviously looking for managers.
No English,
I think
English managers. They don't. I mean, I don't think English managers make great coaches. So I can't think of any English manager who's. I think Ferguson was Scottish. I wouldn't even say he's English, right? So I can't name a single good manager who comes from England. So I think there is that conception there that English
The
managers don't
greatest,
make good coaches.
the greatest English manager that never coached England. The star manager of Nottingham Forest that took
Brian
them to
Clough.
Van Clough, yeah, took them to 2 Champions League.
I think
Yeah,
Eddie Howe is
odd one out.
the best one right now.
And they're losing 1-0 at Wolves today.
To talk about inconsistency, yesterday United's man of the match was Matthias de Ligt. And 2-3 days ago, he was with Netherlands and he was subbed out after the first half. Because of him, they conceded 2 goals. So, and Ronald
You-
Koeman was very harsh on
He was
And-
also the best attacker yesterday.
him.
But he had horrible first 20-25 minutes when Southampton were like really playing well. Dillett was in a hell lot of a trouble at that time. So
I think it helps when you've got Harry Maguire's competition, right? So I think whatever you do, you kind of stand out.
Yeah.
A good
I
point.
think United missed out on someone like a Chaloba from Chelsea. They could have signed him on loan or something, and he's a proven Premier League player, and whom Chelsea were willing to let go of. So signing Chaloba instead of say a Delete who is highly inconsistent any which ways, I think that could have been a better move, and plus on a loan move, if
I
possible.
think how much Varun, I think we should have a competition during this season wherein how much Varun does not like Havertz. I think Ishan does not like Delete.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next big game yesterday, a big talking point. There was a very interesting game of Liverpool's. So this time I'd like maybe Pratik to start the discussion. Pratik, what were your thoughts on that game?
I'm just happy that finally someone burst the bubble of Liverpool. It's not the way the expectations that the fans had of the club for this season. I think it's extremely overhyped. As a Chelsea fan, I can understand and completely relate with the hardships that you have to go through when you change your manager. The whole transition phase is quite long. And it just didn't seem to be very realistic for Liverpool. And yesterday was a reality check for them that it's not going to be easy this year. I think game-wise, Liverpool was not clinical. Callum Hudson-Odoi's goal was incredible. What a finish! Incredible player. I think he's going to go on to become a great player down the line as well. And I was very unhappy when we sold him. I really rated that player very highly. So yeah, overall, I think it's still going to take some time for Liverpool fans and the club to understand what is the playing style of the manager. And losing a game like this at Anfield is very disappointing because uh, for, if you think about this from Jurgen Klopp's perspective, he would he would be very aggressive on the sidelines, and he would never, like, knowing him for the last many years, he was always able to get the win in games like this, even when he had a very bad season. And Anfield is a fortress for Liverpool. So, uh, unfortunately for Liverpool fans, they lost yesterday, and let's see what happens.
Was it a case of Liverpool not being able to break them down, or Nottingham Forest really playing well? Like, who were the one or two key players across
Yeah,
yesterday?
I think it's both. I think Liverpool was not good enough to break them down. They did have their chances. They were just not clinical enough. They hit the post as well once. Luis Diaz, I think it was, early stages of the game. And I think Nottingham Forest had the right strategy going into this game. Uh, the overall formation, the team that was picked by the manager, I think he did a very good job. He knew exactly what was needed to face Liverpool at Anfield, and the execution was amazing. It was on point. So you can say it was both equally.
Just you want to quickly talk about their substitutes, Liverpool substitute at halftime?
60th minute, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he took out Luis Diaz and Jota, and I think that was, I would say, a false move according to me. And another point I would like to highlight is Hudson-Odoi and Elanga. One coming from Chelsea's youth academy, other coming from United's youth academy. I think two very smart signings by Nottingham Forest. Um, so yeah, I think it will be good to see how they go about the season, Nottingham Forest. And again, for Liverpool, as Pratik mentioned, a bubble burst for a lot of people over here. And I think, Yuvi, if you remember, we discussed this at the end of one of our previous recordings, right? Don't judge at the end of 3 games, right? It's too early to judge, right? And so again, right, it's a long season. Um, let's see how it goes. Again, you can't judge how good a manager is or how good a team is after three game weeks.
Yeah. Also want to mention that Forest have also recruited James Ward-Prowse and Alex Moreno as left back. Again, like, how did they manage to convince these two to join them? It's quite a shocker, but again, great transfer business by them. After
Um,
the maniacal recruitment spree they had gone, I think so 2 seasons back, this is extremely sensible transfers from them.
so Ward-Prowse is on loan, or has he made a permanent transfer to Nottingham Forest?
Not sure, not sure.
That's a good signing, right, from West Ham.
I think between Salah and Luis Diaz, Liverpool have the best wings in the league. I think there's no contention. I don't see any player being better than them in their position in the league. So not scoring against a team like Nottingham Forest, who are not so defensively strong, I think there's some issue with that. They should, the quality with which Liverpool attack, I think they should have scored
So
against
one
Forest.
point, was Alexis McAllister playing yesterday?
Yeah, he was again subbed out along with Diaz and Jota at the 60th
So
minute mark.
Just the point which I want to kind of get into is that I think of all the players in the Liverpool team, he is the one who actually controls their gameplay. And given the fact that Argentina had two big games during this
yeah,
international break, and the fact that they had hardly any rest time, I think that could have played a big role in terms of him not coming back fully fit or fully, let's say, recharged. And I think maybe that had some influence in terms of how the game kind of got built up.
But I think actually Liverpool had quite a number of good chances in the first half. I think they hit the post twice or something, if I'm not mistaken. It's just that they were not able to take their chances clinically, especially when they were on top, right? And you saw, like, in EPL, these things are usually punished, right? At 0-0 going into 70th minute, the last 20 minutes, anything can happen. And I feel that's not just 0-0 as well, right? Even if you're 1-0 up in English Premier League, you are not sure to win the game. at 1-0 as well. So it's very important to take your chances when you are on top and kind of kill the game when you can, right? And I think Liverpool missed that clinical goal scoring thing in front of the goal yesterday. Again, at home, that kind of a result was shocking.
Any final comments on the Liverpool game? Anirudh, do you have any views?
I think definitely the honeymoon period of Slot is over. I think it's slightly harsh on him as well, because he'll always be judged on back of Klopp, and I think that's very, very difficult to overshadow. So I think a bit harsh on him. Look, overall they had a lot of chances. I think they played well. I think they had a bad day. You spoke about McAllister being so important and him coming back from two tough games for Argentina, him being a bit fatigued possibly. So look, losing at home against Nottingham Forest is not a great result, but I wouldn't call it that. Look, it's all over for them. I think Slot has still proved that. Look, they have done really well in absence of Klopp. We've seen how Arsenal fared after we lost Wenger. We saw how United is faring now. So credit to him that he was able to keep Salah. Salah renewed his contract, even though with all the uncertainty around Liverpool, he was able to keep Diaz. He was able to bring Jota and Nunes back and integrate them into the team. So I think he's doing a good job. I think lots to be seen. So I really want them to play well, because they are one of the teams that when you watch play football, they play really good football, really interesting football. So I want Liverpool to play well, because it's entertaining football when they play well.
Moving to the next fixture yesterday, I'd like the panel to talk about the Villa game, because I think that was a very significant win for Villa. So Ishan, do you want to take this first?
Yeah. So one interesting fact about yesterday's game was like Everton is the first team to give up a 2-0 lead in two consecutive matches. They did it against Bournemouth
Bournemouth.
last week, and it happened against Villa yesterday. And I think, as per the bookmakers, when I checked, Sean Dyche is the most likeliest manager to get sacked now. So
I think that will be a
not
horrible.
great times
This-
for Everton.
I think that will be a horrible mistake if they sack Sean Dyche. I think they are going down then.
Anyways, they're not going up right now. So, but they have lost 4-4. So somebody over there, I feel. And plus, I think PSR has not been so kind to them of late. So I think there have been some troubles getting some business done during the transfer windows. So Sean Dyche has been not so well equipped with the right players he must have been wanting to play with. So not such great times for Everton right now.
Any comments on John Duran, who was a Chelsea target earlier this summer?
Yeah, he's Colombian. I came to know recently. I didn't know that he was Colombian, but he scored an amazing goal yesterday, and that too being a winning goal. I think we saw Emiliano Martinez's reaction, and that was exactly every fan's reaction when he scored that goal. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that I'm really scared of Aston Villa this year. It seems like if they end up winning games like this, they might end up clinching the top four spot this year. It's very important that even from losing positions, right? Games like yesterday, if you get wins in those positions, it's either you win the title or you get top four. You're really good. So it seems that this year, again for Chelsea, for Tottenham, they're not gonna make it easy for these teams to finish in the top four this year. And let's see, it's gonna be very interesting at the end of the season how it's gonna end up.
Yes, Anirudh, you were saying something?
No, I was saying that I think almost every player is linked with Chelsea these days, because they're the only one who's capable of buying players. So, I didn't see the whole game honestly, but I think Pratik said what I wanted to say. I think Aston Villa is playing really well. We lost against them. Arsenal lost against them, both home and away last year. They're a very tough team. We barely won the game earlier this season against them. So I think it's one of the toughest opponents this year in the Premier League, and have been last year as well in the Premier League. But this guy Duran, I mean, incredible strike. I think that's definitely already the goal of the season. I don't see any other goal capable of beating that strike for the remaining games.
A bit harsh on him that he is second to Ollie Watkins. So, like, I'm sure he must be wanting to start more Premier League games, but it's difficult when he has Ollie Watkins in his own team.
Honestly, Ollie Watkins wasn't having such a great game till the time he actually scored that goal. And he was having a very, very off day. But then, like how they say, as a striker, it's all about confidence, right? When you score one, you get that confidence back, and then you kind of get that momentum going, right? So I think that goal was very important for Watkins and Villa in general, right? Not just from a game perspective, but in general for the season. I think, great comeback by them. And again, like a shout out to Emery, right? I mean, great manager. I really liked him when he was at Arsenal as well. And I think it was a great move for Villa to sign him, right? And now you can just see the transformation that he has gotten to that team. So I think Villa doing great. Again, a very strong top four contender, as you guys mentioned.
Yeah, for Watkins, I think it was a major problem that he missed the preseason. Right, that's why he was like completely off the pace for the starting few games, and I was actually worried that he might lose his place to Duran because just the way he's scoring, Unai cannot keep him from the starting lineup for much longer. So glad that Watkins got his couple of goals. But again, just going back to Everton for a minute, I mean, we all know that Everton, has to finish like fourth from bottom. Their main target is to stay up, and there is no better manager than Sean Dyche available out there. And there is one point that they have lost the first 4 games. They have conceded most number of goals, 13 goals in the first 4 games. But there's another aspect that there are just 2 points away from draw. Right. So, and they were minutes away from winning 6 points, or maybe 4 points. So, I think there are like a lot of positive signs for Everton as compared to negatives, I would say. So, I think they should be fine.
I think they are not able to finish their chances because from what I saw of the game, Calvert-Lewin had 2 gilt-edge one-on-ones which he missed. They create a lot, but somehow they're just lacking that final ability in the box, right? And I think over the course of the season, it kind of gets balanced out. So I agree. Like for the league, I think it's good that a team like Everton stays up because they have that, that rich history, and them being in the league creates a Merseyside derby and, a lot of interesting talking points as well. So it'll be great if they can stay up.
And plus, it's their final season at Goodison, right?
Is it?
I think so. Yeah. So they definitely wouldn't want to get
start off, or it could be a strategy, right? You drop off in the final season and then come back up in the main season in the new stadium.
But very unlike Sean Dyche's team, right? Like his teams are usually very solid defensively and not that productive going forward. And the start of the season has been completely opposite for them.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think if there's one manager that a mid-table or a bottom-table team wants to kind of improve defensively, then it's Sean Dyche, right? So I think, as Vishesh mentioned, I think they should stick with him, according to me as well. Like their goal is to not get relegated, and I think Sean Dyche is a good manager to help them achieve that goal.
Moving on to the late kickoff yesterday, we had Chelsea visiting Bournemouth. So again, I'd like Ishan and Pratik to weigh in with their views first.
Okay, so Chelsea were really horrible in the first half. Pedro Neto was off color, and I think I was really impressed with Kirkis from Bournemouth. He's just a 20-year-old kid, and I think he was on Chelsea's radar also. He's absolutely a star to watch out for. And I think Bournemouth was the better team initially in the first half for sure. But the most for the past 3 games, what I've liked the most about Maresca is his instinct to get substitutions done. He doesn't wait for the damage to happen and then make the substitutions. Even yesterday, he subbed Neto out after the first half and got Sancho in. right? So and after some time he subbed out Maduake and got someone like Jao Felix, and then later Nkunku also. So those substitutions, changes of Nkunku and Sancho made the goal for us. Similar thing happened in the last match as well when Mudrik was subbed out and Neto had come in against Wolves. So he doesn't wait for bad things to happen. Even Tosin yesterday, after Tosin came in, that gave us more defensively lot more stability. Before after when Desasi was there, Desasi was horrible as a right back, and I don't think he's a right back. Rather, we should have played someone like an Achiampong, who is coming up from the Chelsea academy. Desasi is out and out a centre back and shouldn't be used as a right back, in my opinion. So when Tosin came in, uh, Fofana was playing as a right back, and I think that suited us more eventually. So I think I'm a fan of Maresca's substitutions, and he doesn't want to wait before like, the damage is done. He's always one step ahead of. So happy like it was a scrappy win, as I messaged you in the morning, but happy to take the 3 points away.
Pratik, what do you think?
I just want to start by praising the man of the match yesterday, Anthony Taylor. I think he had a fabulous game yesterday. He was so busy, 14 yellow cards all over the park,
A
right?
league record.
It's a
League record, and
exactly.
there were no altercations at all between the two teams.
He booked Sancho yesterday.
And
He
more
booked
yellow cards
Sancho
for
yesterday.
fouls, more yellow cards for arguments than fouls.
Yeah, that's what. That's what. Same happened to Sancho as well, right? I mean, he just got into the pitch and literally he came in 2 minutes later, he's getting yellow card because he approached the referee a little bit too close. That was his problem. So, I mean, every single time that Anthony Taylor is refereeing a Chelsea game, I have to be more focused on what he's doing than what my players are doing. Because it's very scary to have him as a referee in our games, and only a Chelsea fan can really relate to it. Uh, since the FA Cup final, where he really let's not go
Do
back
you,
to that.
do you know who is responsible for Arsenal's rise over the past few years?
Is it the
It's
same
not
man?
Arteta, it's Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor had the biggest part to play because
Anthony Taylor
Kovacic
is
got sent off in the FA Cup
yeah,
final,
exactly.
wherein Chelsea were dominating the game and about to win the game. And he stepped in and single-handedly rescued Arteta.
I remember how
Yeah.
Chalobah got hit during that game. Yeah, on his balls or something. And still the Arsenal player didn't get a red card.
Okay, so back to the game yesterday. Yeah, Pratik, go on.
Yeah, I was just saying that we didn't play well, just as Ishan said, but I think we did well in terms of getting 3 points out of the game. Exactly what happened with Aston Villa, we got lucky uh, by from the penalty save. I think Robert Sanchez was by far the man of the match yesterday. Uh, Undeserved. Jadon Sancho got it. He also had a very good performance. He came in, he looked like the player that we were really missing on the left side of the pitch. His contributions with Nkunku. Also, another point I want to add is that I think Enzo Maresca is finally realizing that Nkunku can be used as a number 9 as well instead of just having Nicholas Jackson there. Because at this point of time, we have enough pace in our team. So if he's looking for pace, if he's looking for a player who's very flexible and versatile, I don't think that's the right move at this point of time. We need someone who's very clinical. Because along with Nkunku, Cole Palmer has been our main contributor for the last since the last season. And even with Cole Palmer, I feel that he has certain games where he just blows out. You know, he has 5 goal contributions or 4 goal contributions, and then 2, 3 games is very quiet. So what my expectation from Cole Palmer this season would also be that he's more consistent, even if he contributes 1 goal a game or 1 assist a game. I think that's sufficient as a number 10. Uh, and overall, defensively as well, Disasi was a disaster, complete disaster yesterday. Uh, like Ishan said, right back, we need to really fix it, and we need to fix it quickly. Fofana, when he moved to the right side, he looked much more stable. He was able to hold on to the ball much better than Disasi. Dawson looked good as well. One player that not a lot of people are talking about is Renato Vega, if I'm not pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, I think he was really, really good in the second half of the game. He was very solid. Defensively, didn't make any mistakes in terms of passing the ball forward. Um, Colville also had a very good performance yesterday, defensively, very solid. Um, Moving forward, Casero was very quiet. I would say, I mean, not a typical Casero game, but that's fine. I think he's gonna pick up pace soon, just like last season where he was very quiet during the first half of the season, and then second half he picked it up quite quickly. So yeah, good performance overall. Kudos to Enzo Maresca for making the right substitutions, making those substitutions quickly, not waiting till the end. But I just hope that he is able to figure out the right formation for the team who's playing in the Premier League and have a second team on the side that is playing the Conference League. Um, and hopefully, I have big expectations of Sancho this year. Joao Felix as well. I really, really like him. He's got good flair to him. When one thing I noticed was when Sancho and Felix were together on the pitch, we didn't lose a lot of possession. And that is when we really started getting back into the game because even Cole Palmer seemed comfortable passing the ball to Sancho and Felix and moving it forward to Nkunku because Nkunku is definitely a much better player in terms of holding the ball up front. For Pedro Neto, I think it's going to be tough for Pedro Neto and Mudryk to get game time this year if we see the potential of Sancho that unfortunately United ruined for the last many years. And he's just 24 years old right now. So even if you see United fans commenting that you'll see what Sancho's about a few months later or whatever, I don't believe that. I think Sancho is incredibly talented. And he sometimes reminds me of the flair that we were missing since Eden Hazard left. I'm not comparing him to Hazard, obviously, but he's got that flair to him, which is really nice to have in an attacking player. So very happy overall, and hopefully we'll see more performances like this.
I
Better,
think one
sorry,
question to you.
better.
Yeah, go on.
Do you think Nicholas Jackson is a better finisher or Nkunku is a better finisher?
I think the
Nkunku
finisher
Inside the
is
box, yeah, inside the box, there's no comparison because Nkunku
Yeah.
creates angles and creates space for himself where there's no space. So if you give him the ball anywhere in that area, I think he can find the goal from any angle.
I think if in the same position, if had Jackson been there yesterday, I don't think Jackson is scoring that goal.
I don't think he gets into the goal scoring position at all. He doesn't get
exactly.
into that.
He's not shooting the
yeah,
ball. He's not shooting
yeah.
the ball from that for sure.
and he wouldn't have finished that as well, even if he
Yes.
was there at that point. So
Yeah.
I think it was a great finish by Nkunku. I was just telling Vishesh, Nicholas Jackson reminds me of this Arsenal striker. He thought it was Gervinho, but I was actually talking about Yaya Sonogo, if you guys
Yeah.
remember. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, I don't understand why you guys
He's not
wouldn't
that
start.
bad. He's not that bad. Yeah.
No. So I'll comment on Jackson. So you should not always look at just what a striker does in the game. You have to look at a lot of aspects which he brings over the course of a season, right? Like if you look at the entire gameplay, how
Yeah.
his movement is improving, what can he add to this team? And if, like, again, this might sound very strange, but Didier Drogba in his first 2 seasons as a Chelsea player never got more than 12 Premier League goals. It was only once he settled in, once he understood how to play the ball in the English Premier League, that his actual potential came out. And a lot of things are actually dependent on the manager, the tactics, and the players around him. You look at Arteta in season 4 versus Arteta in season 1 or 2, the entire team plays very, very different. So I feel a combination of Jackson plus Nkunku actually is a really good combination for Chelsea. It just needs the right, I would say, patience and the right manager to kind of get the best out of them.
Yeah.
I rate both of them very highly. I don't think any problem is there in terms of the attack. I feel the biggest problem with Chelsea is the defense right now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it'll take time for us to fix that. I think in terms of midfield, we can compete with the best of the midfields across the Premier League. But in terms of defense, I think realistically, The fact that United inserted a clause saying that we have to buy Sancho if we finish top 14. I think the top 14 is there because our defense is so weak that it can go anytime out of place.
But I think we missed Enzo yesterday. Creatively, I think we were not creating as much, and because of that, Cole Palmer had to drop a bit deeper. And had Enzo been there, that would not have been the case. So I think
Yeah.
Enzo was missed very much yesterday.
I had a similar thought while I was watching the game yesterday. First half, it really seemed like we were not able to transition from the back to the front smoothly. And that is where I think Enzo would have been extremely
Yeah.
useful in that position. But however, Enzo under Maresca has been playing a lot forward under Maresca's system. But yeah, I mean, I think Lavia is someone that I'm really looking forward to playing for the club again. I had the privilege to watch him live when I was in the US earlier, and I think he's a baller. He's so nice on the ball. When you watch him live as well, you see the difference that he brings to the team. And unfortunately, I saw the Chelsea Madrid game, which we lost. But the standout player in that game was definitely Romeo Lavia. Let's hope that we can keep him fit this year. Unlike what's happened to Reece James in the last few years. Because
he
once
back
it
to-
starts at Chelsea. Sorry?
Yeah, Vishesh.
When is he back due? I think he has a long-term injury, right? December.
No, he should be back for the next game, as per my
Yeah. He was supposed to be back for this game. They said that after the international break he should be ready, but it didn't work out quite that way. What's the injury this time? It's hamstring, right? Or is it something else?
I think hamstring related as well. If I'm
Yeah,
not
because
think-
last time it was ankle.
One player
so it's a
who's
different
going
injury.
under the radar is Kukurea. I think he was very good yesterday, and I think the way he has stepped up in say last 20 odd games for Chelsea has been amazing. Earlier he was termed as a flop, but I think after Chilwell's drop off form, I think Kukurea has performed in a much better way. And
It's a change of position, Ishan. It's the inverted fullback coming into play, which suits him better compared to a natural left back, wherein defensively he is not the best, right? So if you give him that space, in
yesterday he
terms
was
of
playing
moving,
like a pure left back only.
confidence. Like if you
Yeah.
play 15 games in your natural position and then you have to make weight in a single game, it works differently. Maybe.
Yeah, but for Spain, he was playing as a pure left back when they won the Euros. So I don't think that it's change of position. It's just purely change in confidence, like you mentioned. Like Spain winning the Euros with him being the left back over Alex Grimaldo
Yeah.
was a big statement from the Spanish manager.
True.
So that
One-
gives him confidence. Yeah.
One narrative which I would like to add based on all the videos we've touched upon so far is I'll tell you some random names and you tell me what's common amongst all of them. Sancho, Palmer, Adara Bio,
City
Then-
Academy.
City Academy, Arteta, Maresca, the guy who Anirudh was referring to earlier, set pieces. Again,
Nicholas
Nicholas Jover.
Joe
City
Shields. You
backend.
can add Joe Shields.
Joe Shields.
Yeah.
Like every single team in the league who is doing well right now is based on either a City backend or a City front end or a City academy. And it's unbelievable what they have done for the league over the past 1 decade, I would say. Like
Yeah.
everywhere you look, you have City stalwarts building things and taking their new clubs ahead. And it's
Even
just
Girona,
amazing.
for that matter, you.
Correct. It's a sister concern of
Yeah.
Manchester City. So I think if you look at it overall, I think just the way Pep Guardiola, Belgristan, and the entire City backend have dominated English football in every way, it's amazing.
But we'll know tomorrow what the sanctions are, right? Because I think all the financial fair play rules that they've broken for the last 5 years, finally they will be punished tomorrow. So fingers crossed.
Are you
Punished?
expecting anything to happen? Yeah, are you expecting anything to happen?
Is the verdict
Well,
tomorrow, or are the
So the
proceedings
trial
starting
is going
tomorrow?
to begin tomorrow, and it
Yeah.
will probably take around a few weeks to get concluded. But the results
Yeah.
will take time. Results will take over maybe like 12 to 14 months, I think.
I think by that time, maybe Pep must have left City.
Could be.
So you don't know. I think only way Arsenal can for me, City all the way for this season. Like I don't see anyone contending or being close to City this season. But only way Arsenal can win the league is when Pep leaves or something like that happens.
I mean, I see Arsenal having a chance if something happens to Haaland. Right? If he gets injured, he's like a juggernaut.
Still, yeah, कुछ नहीं होगा. Without him also they won the league 2 seasons.
I know, but like, look at his goal contribution, right? Already in 4 games. It is unimaginable.
Playing, just, by the way, Foden has
He has scored more goals than any other club right now.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, Vishesh. Foden hasn't played till now. So Rodri, exactly.
Yeah.
So again, it's like very tough to kind of win the league against this team.
And look at Kovacic's form. Yeah, he's playing so well right now.
Anirudh, you're in the UK. Can you do anything to help make sure Haaland doesn't play too many games?
Let me put on my boots.
Great, guys. Great session. Thank you for watching, everyone. Smash the like button, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you.